Broadcasting way too early from 3 separate Wi-Fi connections. It's PT Breakfast Club with Tony Maritato, Dave Kittle, and Jimmy McKay.
Welcome to PT Breakfast Club. We are live. We are groggy. I don't know, man. I'm just like dragging this morning for some reason. Today on the show, can your clinic put $60,000 in recurring revenue by acting more like a gym? That's a question, not a statement. The CEU hustle your competitors don't know about, and why one PT built $1 million practice and still gets paid like a new graduate. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, everybody.
Who between you two guys, who is older?
Oh, me, right?
Are you?
I believe James McKay is the elder statesman.
I'm 40.
I'm 39.
I turned 46 a month ago. 2 months ago.
Wow, I'm 50. We got like that.
Good range.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Good range. All right. Well, you and I were talking. You were coming in hot this morning before I hit live, and I said, "Let's just go live." You got it good. So set up, and then we'll ask the audience and Dave and myself our question.
Okay, so this is right in Dave's wheelhouse. I ask ChatGPT every Tuesday, Thursday morning while I'm, waiting for my kids to take them to school. I'm like, hey, it's today's day, the PT Breakfast Club. What are some hot topics? And then I start brainstorming. One of the things that popped into my head, I said, well, wait a minute. Everybody wants to say the geriatric population lives on a fixed income. They can't afford cash-based therapy. They can't afford to pay for great service. And I was like, this makes no sense, because on the other side of media, all I hear is the geriatric population, the baby boomers, they're hoarding all the wealth. They own all the homes, all of this negativity towards them. So I'm like, well, which one is it? And it got me thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm 50. I own a house. But even take me 10 years into the future, my house will be paid off. The stock market has been hitting all-time highs for 20 years. This is the I've got a sub 3% mortgage interest rate on my house. So I'm like, it's not that they can't afford. It's that either we are not conveying the value of what we are selling, or they are, which a lot of us are, financially illiterate and don't understand how to access the value they possess. But when I look at the 65 plus community, I see a lot of people that own homes that have doubled or tripled in value since they originally purchased. I see a lot of people who have no student debt, no mortgage left on the home. If they do have a mortgage, it's because they refinanced that sub 3%. I see a bunch of individuals that we see teachers in the clinic every day that are retired with unreal benefit packages, free health care, stipends, all of this crazy stuff that we'll never see in our lifetimes, but because they were in the public sector working as a teacher 20 years ago, they retired. They have insane compensation packages, full salaries plus, and they don't have to work anymore. Nope. So my position is, it's not that this population can't afford Dave's services. It's that either they choose not to because other therapists, not Dave, aren't communicating the value of what it is they are really selling, or the population that they're targeting is financially illiterate, which many of us are, I gotta admit, and they don't understand how to access the value in their home, the value in their portfolios without selling their stocks. They don't understand the value they have. All they see is a social security check that comes in and it's too low for them to live on. They don't realize they're sitting on a pot of gold that hasn't been touched for 30 years.
So so agreed. And hey man, you can't take it with you. This does not mean I think you should empty the bank accounts. If you got kids or you want to leave a legacy or you want to fund the ASPCA, do that. So what you said was pot of gold, and I don't watch a ton of TV anymore, but when I do, I always hear it's always like some dude who was an actor when the audience they're talking to was 24. So like now we're at Tom Selleck. Right? It used to be Wilford Brimley, who was talking about diabetes, right? Yeah. And they never changed it, which was smart because diabetes, right? So it was always the guy that was the guy like Magnum PI, even half the audience is going, who the hell is Magnum PI? And you're right. So maybe what you're saying is right. I agree with you. But us saying it to them is like their kids saying it to them. That won't land. Maybe we need to hire our version of Magnum PI, because what Magnum PI is doing now is invest in gold or whatever, or triple mortgage your house or whatever the hell the commercial is. Don't do that. That's not financial advice. But my point is, whoever is doing that is smart enough to know what Tony just said is true. They do have money, and I do want to access it. So let me talk to let me push on one of their fears, but not a random dude. This is where it's ROI positive to pay whatever Tom Selleck Magnum PI costs, because that person is Superman to them, or was the coolest guy in a Ferrari on the Hawaiian Islands, being a private investigator while living for free in a mansion.
Dave?
That always reminds me that what you just said. The way, because Tom Selleck, I think, is in these commercials now for the reverse mortgages. Have you guys seen these
whatever he's doing? I'm seeing him on TV going, oh, that's what he's now the guy. He's aged into that role.
Just as a complete aside, it's insane that they wrap the reverse mortgage, and again, we talk about words and framing and wrapping. Like, literally a reverse mortgage is you sell your house to the bank, and they're gonna give you money up front. You get to still live in the house, and then you now no longer get to give that house to your children. That's a reverse mortgage, but they just put two beautiful words together and they make it sound like a great thing. It's crazy, because I'm now speaking to friends that are in their 20s or 30s or 40s or whatever, and they are no longer getting their Brooklyn houses passed down from their grandparents because of a reverse mortgage. So they are not liking the reverse mortgage. And anyway, it's just part of this whole conversation about financial literacy.
Dave, if a mortgage is bad, a reverse mortgage
it's got to be good. It's got to be good.
Sounds like the opposite. It's the reverse of bad. That sounds good.
But I mean, it's a little bit of I don't want to say like sharky. I kind of like, it's like these commercials are like, do you need cash right now for medical procedures, or like Tony said, like to live on, or whatever it might be? Have you considered a reverse mortgage? The bank will basically give you a briefcase and a Santa sack of money, and all you have to do is a couple things that we're going to put in the fine print, including we're going to take your house, and as soon as you pass away, it's ours, and then we're going to sell it, whatever, and you don't get to pass it along to your children or grandchildren. Now, of course, if you don't have any children or grandchildren, I think it is a great idea. But if you have children or grandchildren, I don't know. It's a little bit of a, not a little bit. It could be a big aspect of a family dispute. Let's just put it that way.
Correct.
What is your general thought, though, Dave? I had the stats, but I can't pull them up now. Like, one of the, populations, the decade age that's holding the most wealth, especially in regards to what I said, stock market appreciation, home ownership, housing appreciation, all of that stuff, is that like it was either 60 to 70 or 70 to 80-year-old demographic. My question to you is, are we on the right track in the sense of understanding, look, these individuals have the wealth to pay for what is beneficial for them. They choose not to because we are sending the wrong message. We're communicating the wrong value proposition. They don't care about the things that we're trying to sell them. They have other desires. We just need to understand how to communicate to those desires. But the money is there.
The money is absolutely there. And it's, for the most part, as Jimmy will say on any podcast, it's all about communication and messaging and the message. So yes. And that's the thing. Historically, I know we've talked about this kind of intertwined a million different ways of, like, historically, physical therapy practices didn't have to care about the messaging, because it was like every practice took every insurance, and 10, 20 years ago, the insurances reverse adjusted for inflation were paying better then. And so you got away with it. You put up a shingle and people call and they walk by and they stop in, and the practice took every insurance under the sun, and you didn't have to do what we do now, which is have an organized sales process, do sales role play. I'm literally onboarding a new physical therapist right now. And yesterday we spent 3 hours talking about words, like literally what words to use and why it's important to say things like, what are your expectations today of your first visit? And like all of these things to make a different experience. Before, physical therapy practice could get away with it. Now we're at a point where we want to like maybe get out of the payer system, or we're complaining about payment and reimbursement and all that. And now the words and the messaging and the positioning is more important than it ever has been before.
Yep.
Real quick on that topic, we should do a full segment, not today, but in the future, on words and language and how we say it. I've got a patient right now who had some foot and ankle issues. She went to a large national chain, a shoe store. And the one that got me, she was like, she told me, she said, going in, I told my husband, be ready. It's probably going to be $200 or $300 for a pair of shoes that they recommend. I said, well, how much was it? She was like, $2,500 was the lowest recommendation, the lowest cost recommendation. She said, the thing that the guy told me, it was 45 minutes. They just keep pounding the same idea. She said, the thing that almost got me to say yes was the guy said, well, if your husband needed it, wouldn't you do it for him? And
Boom.
She was like, oh, I pulled at my heartstrings. I was ready to say yes when he told me that. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But other professions, other service providers, product sales, they understand how to communicate. They understand how to convey the value. And if you really believe, this goes back to marketing is ethical. If you really believe that you can change this person's life, you can keep them in their house 5 more years. You can improve the quality of those 5 years. What else are they going to spend the money on that is more valuable than their independence and freedom? I think about that every single day when I'm in the clinic.
And dignity.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. And there's it's the person who creates the life kit for helping your parents age is going to be like, you should throw money at that person if you can do it, right? Very, very good. Questions, comments, if you're watching live, drop them below. Which one should we do? Do you want to talk about this one LinkedIn post? We could do it quick if there's not a legs, but I thought this was good. This was Nick Schmidt asking this question. It wasn't really a question. Well, it was. He was saying, are physical therapy clinics missing out on a gym model opportunity that can provide steady revenue? He was saying he read something from Larry Benz, yada, yada. Essentially, like, I feel like we've been talking about this, which is like, you're not going to get more money from the insurance company. I bet. I regret to inform you that is never coming. It's never going to go up. It's always going to go down. Like gravity. Count on it to go down. So he's saying, could we do this gym model? And I was like, I've heard this before. They don't want loud music. They don't want a gym, but could you make a nice gym? And I was like, yeah, Tony does this. Here's where I was like, I don't think that feels right. If the clinic invests $200,000 in equipment and charges $75 a month, that's $90,000 per year in revenue.
It's gonna take 2.5 years or whatever to make the money back, which is that's a lot of money.
And I was like, yes, you could. I think less than $5,000 in a Facebook marketplace, right? I mean, because
to get ramped up, and then you could always upgrade a little bit later.
I know we want the brand new Rogue squat rack and the Nike rubberized kettlebells that are nice that I keep seeing on my feed, but I think you need less than $5,000 of equipment. Like, what are the 2 or 3 people? I don't know, a stepper, I don't know. Like, I think you could do it with less than $5,000. Tony, you're doing this. So like, this is the thing I feel like you've been leading people to water about.
Yeah. What was the original Larry Benz article? I don't remember that.
I don't remember either. He's putting in a lot of articles, which is good.
He is. Yeah. So my thing with kind of, my understanding, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Planet Fitness is like a $2 million investment. Yeah. So he's saying, would we make a 10% investment relative to that? I would say the problem with investing $200,000, and it's just an arbitrary number, is if you don't have a proven model. Like McDonald's has no problem opening, a new restaurant because they have a proven model, they have a proven formula. We know it's going to work. We know the price points, the demographic, the community, all of that stuff is there. When I see a therapist spending $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 on a new clinic, it breaks my heart because they don't have a proven model. They are really rolling the dice on that. Yes. Now, I got stuck in what you're saying. I got stuck in the $5,000 model. I buy broken equipment off of eBay because none of my patients have enough strength or mobility to use a $5,000 recumbent bike, they're good on a $500 or a $50 broken recumbent bike. Like, so don't use me as an example. But what I shared in the comments was the real value in that model is not the 75 or the 100 a month. It's in building the community, getting the people there, having access to, and the three things that I said were, if I have even 20 people, 50 people doing a program like that, they've all been patients already. Nobody from the community can walk in cold. It's only people that have been patient. So I kind of can handpick who's the best candidate for this self-pay program. We started at 30 in 2002. We're at 100 a month in 2026. But the idea is I can handpick the community. I can offer it to them with no obligation. There's no contracts. You can quit anytime. And by having these people in my clinic twice a week, usually they're there 30, 40 minutes. Some people like to stay a little longer. It doesn't hurt me. It builds the vibe of the clinic. You've seen videos of my guys that are bringing in joke books and making everybody laugh, and like it builds the vibe and the community. But then also, if I get a cancellation, I can reactivate one of those patients to fill that spot. I can use it as word of mouth marketing because they all have friends and families and communities. They have neighbors that are getting hip and knee replacements, rotator cuff repairs. They're telling them to go to tonal therapy. So I save the money on the marketing. I've got money that's there for missed visits, cancellations, reactivations, and I've got the word of mouth and the community, the vibe, So we've always had that in-house. It's always been net positive. The only thing, and I want to hear what you guys say about it, you have to have the staff that is willing to engage with these individuals. Jeremy, Kathy, Tony, we will talk, we will laugh, we will listen to their stories. I have had teams of therapists who believe if you're not a physical therapy patient, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not going to engage with you. Mentally, they can't handle it. Mentally, they don't have the bandwidth to acknowledge when another person walks in the clinic. And definitely they can't answer a question if it's not the patient they're seeing. I mean, we know that these therapists exist. They're so focused on the person in front of them. The rest of the world disappears. That is not a recipe for success. So
I wouldn't be able to not speak to the person. I'd be like, what's up, dude? Like, you'd be like, Jimmy, I'll give you $100 if you could not talk to one person. I'd be like, okay. And I would last 7 minutes. And I'd be like, how are you?
You would be the person that thrives in that environment. You are not the typical DPT in the workforce today.
Wow. Really?
Dave, what are you thinking?
Wow.
I would fit right into this culture. I mean, I think you guys,
culture.
I would fit into, like saying hello and welcoming folks in, but a little bit of that, I mean, that goes back to who you're attracting with interviewing and who you're hiring and all that. And, you could get a pipeline of those folks or qualified through DBT programs, the shadowing or the clinical rotations and all that type of stuff. So, I think what you just described, Tony, is so overlooked in outpatient physical therapy. It doesn't matter if you're in network, out of network, cash, self-pay, whatever. But I've seen both ends of the spectrum, and there's one that offers a warm experience for most consumers, patients, clients. And the other one can be awkward, and people are not going to, people might do in-network a little bit, they'll be fine with in-network experience there. Maybe some people, but they'll be less likely to pay out of pocket if it feels, cold or awkward or so.
I'm still dumbfounded.
Now, what I think is interesting is, so we have Planet Fitness less than 5 minutes down the road. We have other opportunities around us, the YMCA across the street. There's an Anytime Fitness that has free silver sneakers. These individuals don't have to pay $100 a month.
Right.
But they've been with me for years and sometimes decades. And I ask them, I'm like, why have you chosen to continue to pay? A lot of times it's husband and wife. So they're paying $200 a month as a couple. Why are you guys still paying? We don't have the equipment that they have across the street. We don't have the physical space that they have across the street, the amenities that they have across the street. And it's always the same thing. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable here. I know what I'm doing. You have the equipment and I have access to you so that if I have a question in passing, without taking away from the existing patient who's on an insurance plan of care, I can ask, and I can listen to how you talk to the other. They've told me I can listen to how you talk to the other patients and answer their questions. And they just feel like they're part of the family, and they really are.
And they're getting added value. If they're listening in on how you're speaking to some other patient about another condition, that's added value, because if they get that condition later, if their ankle swells up or whatever the thing is, they will then have a little bit more insight as to what's going on, or they're going to be looking at you again the next day and saying, hey, obviously you are my, consummate professional. You are my sage. You're my main therapist. And of course, they're going to continue. This is why the price should be raised. I think everyone in the Ohio area, if I were there, I would say we're going to we're going to go $200 a month per person. I'm not going to ask for any fees or commissions, but I think there is significant value. And if people are not canceling, if people are not getting out of it, Tony, then I think it could be time to raise the price. Now, we already passed January 1st, so now you got to make up some other excuse in the near future as to why you would be potentially raising the price on them.
This is why, a vodka soda at my house costs me $2.60, but one at a bar costs me $9. This is Cheers. There are two. I live in a very small town. Dave and I went to one coffee shop. There's another coffee shop around the corner from me that I don't go to. And you might be like, well, why? So there's a couple differences, and they go right back to where Tony is. Now, I have a Dunkin' Donuts 8 minutes away. I'm not going there unless I need to drive through. And then I'm like, let's bag it out. Then there's two walk-in hometown coffee shops. I'll tell you about the one I don't go to. The counter is super high. I can't see the people working, and they can't see me, so we barely make eye contact, right? And there's a wall. I can't see what they're doing. And it's sort of staffed by a bunch of 25-year-olds who never talk to me. They're always talking to each other. I'm like, all right. They also make me pay before I go sit down. Like, I might order like whatever, and they're going to make my coffee, right? They also only take cash. I paused there for like, what? Okay, I don't have any of that.
Apparently 20-year-olds don't like cash. Well, have you heard that? They're afraid of it.
Though. It's not their place, though. It's someone else's. But whatever, you do you. Also, the seating is super weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it does not feel warm, right? Around the corner is the place that David and I went to, and I know David, the owner. I walk in, and I've been there a billion times, and he's had 5 or 6 people work the front desk. All of them have the same vibe, which is like, hey, what's up? Even if they don't know me, they're like, hey, good to see you.
They say hello when we walked in. Yep.
Which is so minor, but sometimes you have to teach that. And then after 5 or 6 times, I am nothing if not consistent. I don't have the same damn thing every time. When there's a line, I just sort of nod at David or the person at the front, and they go, I'll bring it to you. And then I go open my laptop and do the thing. And I don't even care how long it takes to get there. I don't want to wait in line. Do that. Take 50 people. And they got it, and they bring it back, and they're like, pay when you're checking out. And I'm like, that is different. And the
countertops are low, and there's no separation between church and state. You can see what's going on, and it's very open.
They take a card, right? Like when my dad comes in, they're like, "Oh, we got ginger ale in the back." I'm like, "Right." My dad doesn't do that. He does ginger ale. Like, why do I go there? I could get ginger ale and coffee cheaper. This applies to your people. This is still. I know you're fancy, and you went and got a degree in this fancy thing. Still deliver the basic thing.
You're still serving consumers, yeah.
Humans with brains who pick.
How long has that place been around, and how long have you been going?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I've been going for 5 since I moved back to this area, so 2020.
See, I think the challenge in this is it's very easy for me to be like, this is what I do, and this is how you can do it. I've been around 25 years. I've been here since 2007. Now, was it like that in 2007 when I opened this location in this town for the first time? No. There was a decade of struggling and begging and send me people and I'll do anything it takes. And then slowly we started to build that history of people coming back like Jimmy, of knowing what this person wants and that person wants and knowing why this person is really here. Now, fast forward from 2007 to 2026, it's super easy for me to be like, yeah, 20, 30,000 in recurring revenue annually because people are willing to pay $100 and not go down the street to pay 15. But we got to acknowledge, like, it was a lot of hustle and a lot of struggle and a lot of frustration and thinking you're on the edge of closing down to get to this point. So I don't know. I don't know how you resolve that as a new practice starting today.
Simple, not easy. Like, I've talked before. We'll talk inside baseball, right? Like, I've had large organizations sort of talk to me over beers and be like, we have a 9-person marketing staff. How come our podcast, what are we doing wrong? And I was like, okay, you have 14 people that need to approve every episode. So I use the gallon of gas analogy. If I had 2 gallons of gas, you have to keep making compromises. That's pouring a little bit, it's just a tablespoon of water in the gas, and then another tablespoon of water in the gas, and another tablespoon of water in the gas. I don't. I have gas, flame, fire. By the time you pour your gas on the fire, it's a little watered down. I don't know if it's catching fire at all. It's a cop-out. Also, I do 2 a week, every week for a decade, like Tony's saying. Do you want to be where I am? Great. Jump in your DeLorean, go back 10 years and do exactly what I did. But don't, because you can't do exactly what I did. Do your version of that. So this is simple, not easy. This is building a house. Every day is a brick. 1 brick.
And Tony, did you say 20 or 30K per month recurring? So that means you have around 200 or 300 people paying?
I said annually, or I should have said annually.
Okay.
Got it. Us, for our footprint, for our size, we were usually, and even still are, somewhere around 20 to 30 active members, $100 a month. So at 100, for whatever that comes out to.
Okay. All right. Change topic real quick.
Oh, yeah. We also are we on a slow advertisement day, Jimmy? We're not paying the bills today. No advertisers.
Sorry. My apologies. No, I had a good one for this one. Sorry. This is brought to. There it is.
Our advertising partners are going to get mad at us. Here we go.
Yeah. It's brought to you by Jim Fogg. Yeah, Jim Fogg. Smells like eucalyptus, liability waivers, and just a hint of tiger balm. You spray this all around your clinic. It's not a gym, we swear. Aromatic mist of eucalyptus, liability waivers, and tiger balm. Transform your clinic, mask the gym. Jim Fogg. Visit us online and get the diffuser for free when you buy 12 months of the tiger balm scent aromatic mist. Jim Fogg. I
can't believe you know what tiger balm is. I thought I was the only person in
tiger balm is that stuff that's like, what's wrong with you? That works on it. I have this, that it works on that too. Yeah, just rub it. You just got to rub it harder. Like, think about that. That's so great. Like, rubbing stuff does make it feel better. Does it fix it? Not really. But your thing is like, but you put it on and you rub it. How smart is that? Be the thing that you have to pay in between, and then you're like, it does feel better. It's like, I know.
So I just found out that BioFreeze is available on TikTok Shop.
Of course it is, right?
So now I need to go start getting some BioFreeze back in the clinic. We haven't used it in like 20 years and start selling it.
It's crazy that BioFreeze is so big because it's basically just like menthol, right?
This would be a great breakdown for us. Bengay, Tiger Balm. There was another one that was really popular, like in the consumer landscape. What BioFreeze did differently was they were only available in physical therapy, chiropractic clinics. They weren't selling direct to consumer until recently. And now they're on TikTok, which, I've never seen that before. So like that would be a great business analysis to see how they grew, because everybody in the 80s and 90s was using BioFreeze.
I got it. It's on my list. Okay. All right, we'll do that. I also have bad words in physical therapy. We're going to do an episode on words. And BioFreeze, Tiger Balm versus Bengay. I can already see the thumbnail. Now I'm starting to think like Tony told me to think 2 years ago. I was like, think of the thumbnail. They're like, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
All right, quick idea. I sort of pitched this to you. This is for people in the profession who have CEU courses. And I'm going to steal this strategy from not myself, but the company that I used to work with in radio. So I want you to turn unused continuing education. This works with situations that are live. They can be in person or virtually live, but not what's the word I'm looking for? Like on demand. You can't just record it. That really wouldn't make any sense. So the idea is CEU courses have perishable inventory. These are like tomatoes, right? If you got a course on February 1st, come February 2nd, if you didn't put a button seat, you get nothing for it. It's $0. You've got space for 40 people. And if you only sell 30, like, dude, you lost. I want you to start thinking like you lost 10. I know you probably hit your break-even number, but what's the problem? How do we sell unused inventory? So here's what we did. I'll tell you what we did in radio, and then I think it's a logical flip. So we did this thing called, I think it was like half off Wednesdays. And this was around the time when Groupon was a thing. This is where we're like, hey, what if we took the little bit of thunder? Tony owns a restaurant in town. He doesn't make enough money to have an advertising schedule on the radio station, but he's a community partner. He's a community restaurant, and we want to help. You say, all right, let's do an exchange of value that you'll get something super high value. Our audience gets something like a steal, and we get a little something, something. So Tony gives me 10 $100 gift certificates from Tony's Pasta Place or wherever his restaurant is, right? So you gave me $1,000 in value. Now, it didn't cost you $1,000, right? Because there's margin there. But you gave me $1,000, and that has value, right? Jimmy then talks about this for 7 days. Hey, half off Wednesday's coming, half off Wednesday at the radio station website, 7 a.m., and they're only 10. Tony's is great. I went there, and I had the penne vodka with chicken. Tony's also nice. He makes me do exercises in the back. I don't really understand. It's a PT clinic. It's a restaurant. No, just kidding. But I'm talking about you for a week, because my job is to get you to focus on the one deal that's going to happen on half off Wednesdays. So you're getting a little zhuzh. There's a link to your website. People are going, I'm going to jump on there. Come half off Wednesday at 7 a.m. My morning guy jumps on, rings the bell. Woo, woo, woo. Half off Wednesdays now online. Tony's. You're getting zhuzh. My audience says, I'm going to get a $100 gift certificate for $50. That has to be the math. It needs to be big enough to be, okay, yeah, it's not 10%. It's not 25%. It's not buy one, get one free. It's 50.
So the radio station is only making $500.
Correct. And the audience is getting a steal. And Tony got some zhuzh for a few days. We keep all that cash. We sold $1,000 for $500. Now, of course, we're doing Tony's and Dave's and Sally's restaurants. We're doing a mix. So there's so it's supply and demand.
I love it.
Discount. So my thing is, I'm sitting here the other day and I was like, reminiscing about something. And I was like, oh, dude, why am I not doing this with CEU courses? Adam Meekins is coming to Westchester, New York. This could be fun, Dave. You want to go crash Adam Meekins' course? He's doing a shoulder course in Yonkers in April or May. I'll get the date.
Well, no, it's just all about exercise, right? Because he doesn't like manual therapy. So can I just watch it on a stream?
It's exercise and cursing. He just drops F-bombs while you lift up kettlebells. But Ivan is the clinic owner in Yonkers who's like essentially now a gambler. He's like, okay, I'm going to pay Adam X amount. Adam is paid to get him to fly across the Atlantic to come. So now Ivan, who's in Yonkers, is like, okay, I know I've got to sell, 15 seats to break even. And then the 16th seat, I make money. In my brain, if you've got 30 seats, I go, Ivan. So here's where my pitch to you guys is. Shoot some holes in it, see if this boat floats. You can't do it from the beginning of the course because then everyone's going to wait. Do you know what I mean? You can't be like, Adam's coming. And then, so the tickets are this, but also you can wait for these. So you got to wait. So my thing is I would launch these 3 weeks before, right? We're crunch time. And you know how many are left. And you don't give me all of them. If you have 7 seats left, I want like 3 or 5. And it's half off, same model. I wouldn't call it a Groupon. I wouldn't call it a discount. I would call it like secret seats, scholarship seats, side door seats, something like that to make it feel like it's like you knew the code and because you knew me, you got 50% off. And then Ivan goes, all right, I got 10 to sell. I gave you 3. Those are gone. But I'm getting enough zhuzh with the right audience to hopefully go, oh, Adam Meekins is coming to, oh, that's cool. So even if you sold 2 of the ones you wouldn't have, you didn't really lose anything.
Tony will know this better than me, but my understanding is that the practice owner usually will get 1 or 2 or 3 free seats. And the practice owner benefits by getting a name or a person or a company to do the Con Ed there. So you would actually be doing business with the person that's actually conducting, whether it's McKinsey or whoever is the company. The private practice owner gets a couple free seats for their staff therapist, and they host it. They don't pay anything. As far as I know, the practice owner typically doesn't pay anything. It's the content company that you would be speaking with that wants to fill the rest of those seats.
There's a couple models that, but a person like Adam, my guess is he's doing direct. He's just like, who wants me to come? And someone's like, okay, Adam, my guess is Adam's just like, I cost this. Have a great day. You sell this or you don't. That's my guess. But yes, to like a larger organization, that's correct. I would be talking to like the FMS or whatever sort of company that would be dealing with them. I think like someone like Adam. Adam is the company, and I'm just using him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Last chance continuing education.
So my first concern, which you addressed, was, you know, it's going to become the Bath and Body Works effect. Everybody waits for the 20% discount. Everybody, Kohl's, nobody will go unless it's a 30% off coupon in the mail.
Yep.
But what was interesting, and I didn't expect you to say this, was you said, okay, they give you 2 or 3 and they still have 7 more, with the intent being, okay, boom, you sell those 2 or 3 quick. Everybody else after that has to pay the higher price.
Right.
And really what you're doing is you're just exchanging value and saying, hey, I would normally pay Jimmy $1,000 to promote this. Instead, I'm giving him $1,000 of value with these, you know, tickets and these spots, and he's going to sell those to get his $1,000. And I get the benefits of the ads on the other side of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I think it's awesome.
I just got to figure out how to do it. Like I would need to like structure the website to make the transaction, right? I'm sure someone smart out there would have, I feel like a Will Boyd would be like, oh, I just use this app and then,
right.
And I'm like, got it. Yeah, I don't know that. But I feel like a Will Boyd would be like, super easy, done in 5 minutes. We did that. We did that for not just restaurants. We did that a lot. We started aiming at, because what this did in radio, our sales reps were like, there's a certain revenue of business that when we go below, it doesn't make any sense for them to buy ads. Like we, in good conscience, can't really, it's not, the juice ain't gonna be worth the squeeze. And so we offered this sort of like exchange of value and said, all right, now we're in this together. We have inventory too. People like radio doesn't have inventory. Yes, we said 12 minutes an hour when we only have 8 minutes an hour sold. What are we doing with that other 4 minutes? You know what I started doing? I started running fake commercials. Fake funny commercials. I would go into a booth with my production director, Tom, who was insanely creative with sound. And I'm like, let's make some commercials about how no one listens to radio commercials. So there's no reason a local person should advertise. So it'd be like, no one listens to commercials except you. You're listening to this commercial. Oh my God, how'd that happen? So I guess other people listen to commercials and you should pay us to run commercials so people come to your business. Like we do like stupid, like no one reads billboards on a billboard is like, right. So we'd run those things. Cause I was like, if we've got it unused, use it for something that will generate attention or business 3 months from now. All right, I'll work on the names. I'll beta test this. I know Rebecca Griffith mentioned she does this. She does PT and the ED. I'll start with people like that. Should I start with people, individuals, or should I go with a big company first? Or is it?
I think you got to do the individual. You got to, right. Yeah, because I mean they're going to have more flexibility. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Jimmy, are you still doing Getmo? Are you get the message out?
Yeah.
So this would be a spoke on that, or respectfully, are you chasing? Are you chasing things, or is this a spoke of that?
I think this is a thing that this could be a PT Breakfast Club feature, because what we talk about here goes to your YouTube, yours and mine. So it could be like fund the show. So we'll do it every Thursday, half off Thursday, once a month or once a week, right? For whatever. What I wouldn't want to do is like do it like 3 times. Like that takes the scarcity out of it. It's like on this day for this hour, and when they're gone, they're gone. Maybe this funds, sound effects aren't cheap, guys. You know what I mean? Like sound effects, like these things are not cheap.
Let's pay the bills real quick.
You're still on mute. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there, you're back.
Like, I'm just thinking, like, do we prove the concept? Even if we just broke even or gave the money to charity, whatever, we could fund the Foundation for Physical Therapy Research, which I'm still on their board.
Jimmy loves to give his money away to nonprofits.
Well, I know. I do.
Right,
look, I'm wearing Team Gleason's t-shirt.
Expanding on this idea, though, and I don't know that Dave would ever want to do this, but like this goes back to a physical therapy clinic that has extra space, extra capacity on the schedule. Like, why are they not doing something like this either internally? They have their list. They have their, last minute deals. We used to do this with massage therapy. You shoot out a list that morning to people who can't afford a full session, but maybe they still want therapy. They want to be on your schedule, and you can deliver them those last minute appointments that are open. I could see a marketing company coming in and developing the open table kind of platform, for physical therapy clinics that just don't have a good system. They don't have the infrastructure to fill those last minute open spots. Again, we used our wellness program, our non-covered maintenance, our memberships, because if I had 2 or 3 people in the clinic, I could pop them into a reactivation campaign and get them to fill an open spot. But if I don't have that, this is what you're doing. You're identifying that capacity, you're selling it at a discount, but even the discounted rate brings value because 50% of the revenue is better than 0% of the revenue, unless I have something more valuable to do. I think Dave has more valuable things to do than book an appointment.
What about D3 from SME? Products. If you want to get attention for a product, let's say he had a thing that's sitting on his shelf, I would say to David from SME or Joseph Lowe, give me a product that's not moving. That's the thing that's rotting, right? It's been sitting on my shelf. Okay, hey, this is $100. You're gonna get it for $50. Let's get it moving. But now there's some attention behind that. So yeah, you gave me $100 in stretch straps or Stroops. I had Stroops on a live stream. I tried some live selling last week, 2 weeks ago. And
that was good. That was good, by the way.
I didn't see that at all.
Let's talk about it in a second. Finish. Good, Jimmy. Finish what you're saying.
You could do this for tangible products too, which is to say, like, hey, I've got 5 HyperIce, massage guns. They're normally $300, $150. Got to move now though. Just the attention alone, people going, oh, hey, did you see this? And you can sort of track some of that online traffic. Although the funny part is you wouldn't want a lot of people to know, because then they'd be out competing you. So you'd be like, oh, I don't know anything about this. What are you talking about? I'm going to get this thing. Yeah. Oh, so the live selling. Oh, Dave, I'm listening. He's like,
D3 in the house. So let me break this down real quick with the Stroops, right? So I'm in the car ride going home from JFK Airport back home to Brooklyn, and Jimmy's got a live video playing, and it was different. It was unique, right? So I click into it, and Jimmy knows this. He's not going to get offended. The audio was horrible. The guy obviously didn't have like proper mics or whatever, but they're in like a almost like a CrossFit-y type of fitness forward gym, whatever. And I see these like orange bands. There's no title on the video. I have no idea where he is. I have no idea who this guy is. There was a woman and a guy. But here's the thing. I texted Jimmy, or no, I commented. Did I comment and say, what did I comment? I said, who is this? Where is this? What am I watching? But I didn't swipe out of the video. So it was so raw and so different or unique or genuine or whatever. I wanted to give Jimmy feedback on it now, but I think you kind of understood it then, which is basically like, even though the audio was horrible and I had no idea what state this was and where we are, who this guy is, what are we talking about? I was watching, I was engaged, and more of that will probably also be engaging.
I, on purpose, prepared very little, and I told Sean very little. I was like, give me one product, and the product we were talking about was the rack. And I said, we're not selling this. We are explaining who shouldn't buy it, what's wrong if you do, but like it was the anti-sell sell. And I, on purpose, did not make any, flashy intros or anything on the screen. All I did was bring a notebook and said, what would I improve? What would I take away? Or what I would add? And right off the bat, sound, So he already bought mics. He already bought the same Rode mic. I was like, buy this. Boop, sound's gone for $89. And then I said, we need a camera or a laptop, a camera fixed, like a wide shot. And then we need someone else besides you. And he had a fitness instructor as like our, hey, QVC. I'm like, you need a third person who's just camera. You can't both be worrying about that. And then, like we have on the screen right now, the Breakfast Club, this thing up here, the business of healthcare served over breakfast, that in his orange, what it is, super quick frame. So someone like Dave goes, hey, what is like, this is weird. Why do I like this? But now I want to take one step closer. What is this? So that would solve that. But if I had thought about it, I didn't want to solve the problem. I wanted to live solve the problem. Because I was like, Sean, an hour, even if we get nothing, we've learned 5 things, and we learned more than 5 things. Then at the end, here's why I know it was successful. An hour later, he sent me like 6 different texts. Could we do this? Could we do? I was like, now I've got the ball rolling. So he makes and he ideates, designs, makes all that stuff he has a fantasy factory in Utah. He has a mechanical background, mechanical design, engineering. I don't even know. He's a mad scientist, but he decided to put his mad science towards exercise stuff. And he was also an athlete. And now he's been doing this for 20 years. He just designs all this stuff. He sees what's in like Dick's or whatever. And he goes, yeah, I can do it better. And then he goes, does it. That's the difference between Sean and us. It was like, they should do this. And he's like, okay. And then he takes out the welding helmet and doing whatever. So live selling, I saw another stat, made me think of you guys. It was how many trillions of dollars it's going to be worth in the next 2 to 3 years. It's a lot. My cousin's a corrections officer, dad of 3. And his sister came over the other day, and I'm like, she's walking around with a phone, and it sounds like a live stream. I go, what is that? She goes, oh, it's my brother. What's he doing? Selling baseball and football cards on Whatnot. And I'm like, you're kidding me. We were just talking about this. She goes, no, he makes a couple $100 a month doing whatever, like an hour. And it's a cool, and the kids love it. The kids are helping him. The kids are like, oh, this one next. The whole live stream is just like a stand that he puts the cards on and then talks about it for 10 minutes until the bid runs out. And then ching, it's sold. And he goes, all right, next card. Oh, this is the Derek Jeter 80s, 96 card. And ching, sold. I'm like, wow. So this is definitely a thing. How we use it, I don't know yet. But
I did get on that. I was on that live stream. I think I was on Facebook.
Yeah,
I was listening to you guys. I saw the girl demonstrating a couple things, but I was in the middle of patients and couldn't really understand. I had no idea what you guys were trying to do, but now I get it.
Yep, and we'll reframe that. I think somebody had originally suggested, well, just record it, just do it live, but don't share it. I was like, no, it needs to have real adrenaline. You need to, that'll burn the memory into your brain. If it's safe, it doesn't work. I don't know why. Someone who knows brains better than me would know why. Real is how you learn, and fake is for some reason not how we learn. All right. So we got 12 minutes left. This is a quick one. I call it the value trap. I put up a trick question on LinkedIn, and I think I sent it to you guys, which is like, which is heavier, a pound of feathers or a pound of nails? I asked, which is more valuable and I was specific, which has more value to a patient, a 60-minute session or a 30-minute session? And 70+% of my audience that answered, which are mostly physical therapists or people in healthcare, said, which one do you think they guessed? 60 or 30 is more, I guess. Yeah. To the patient. And I was like, did you answer for the patient or because you could build more units in 60 than you can with 30? Nah, I see where your bias is showing. Because I would say, if I changed PT session to oil change, which would you rather get? Well, I'd rather sit there for an hour and get my oil changed. When the answer is clearly, is it the same level of service? And if the answer is yes, then the answer is 30 minutes and not 60 minutes. So everybody's bias was on full display. So
it's a great question that you knew would get engagement, and people just can't help themselves. I don't think I saw it and I didn't answer it, but I have some. I smell you being a shark in the water as a trap. So
I don't like this.
Well, because there's not enough for me. There's not enough context, right? So you could have an hour physical therapy visit, at a place where the therapist is treating 5 patients at the same time,
Right.
but like then their head's spinning and the aide or the tech is doing exercise with the patient, whatever. Or you could have a catch practice that's one-on-one for 30 minutes. So that's why it depends on how many other patients are being treated at the same time and all that.
Do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out with your accountant for 2 hours or 15 minutes? Would you like to be in the dentist chair for an hour? If the outcome was the same, you want to be in the dentist chair for 7 minutes. You do the same thing in 7 minutes. 7-minute abs. 7-minute abs, not 8-minute abs. 7-minute abs is more valuable. So how do we change? And so my task to you in the next 11 minutes, explain to me how we change an entire profession's culture to think in outcomes and not time.
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it right now. I shared a comment the other day. Somebody, I don't remember who exactly, talked about shorter sessions. Is there, clinical evidence? Is this what's best? Put reimbursement on the table. I have seen more like pro shorter sessions in the last 3 months than I've seen in the last 23 years.
Great.
It goes back to, are you a therapist who needs to do things to your person, your patient, or are you more on the, let me empower you, let me educate you, let me show you what to do and let you do it, And so, yeah, if the analogy I used was, if you had an oven that everything had to cook for 60 minutes, doesn't matter what you put in it, you put a cake, you put a cupcake, you put a piece of fish, everything has to cook for 60 minutes. Like, it is going to change what you put in that oven. But then we have microwaves. So I think what Dave delivers is very different than what I deliver. Yep. Dave is delivering the experience. He's delivering the time. He's delivering, something. I am delivering the information. The quicker you give me the information that has the solution, the quicker I can get out of here.
Paul chimes in. He's already writing next week's commercial. And if you're not happy with 7-minute abs, we'll send you the 8th minute for free.
So, Tony, off of what you just said before. Yeah. All right, Tony's liking this more than Paul's comment. Thank you, Paul, for commenting live. Tony, we are selling the result based off of whatever our clients say is important to them, like whatever their goal is, like to get back to walking again, get back to walking in Central Park, get back to running, get back to whatever the thing they want to get back to. That's what we're selling. Right. Because you're saying what I deliver is different, what you deliver is different from you and I. That's what we sell. What do you sell? Like, have you communicated that? Is it the fun environment? Is it the low cost? Is it like what? How do you pitch what you sell? Because what we sell is like, hey, this is your North Star. We're going to be your guide. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to get you there, and it's going to be this many weeks or this many visits or whatever.
Well, okay, before I answer you, let me ask you, if you're selling the outcome, which I totally understand, are you doing like some sessions that are 12 minutes, 15 minutes?
Not that short, but
okay. So when I look at my clinic and I look at the individual in front of me and I'm doing the evaluation, I'm trying to assess, why is this person here? We have people, and I'll use cases, real cases. Person comes in, I've got 2 or 3 people on caseload right now. They need to do 6 physical therapy visits. We've had this conversation to qualify for an MRI, which they need to qualify for surgery. It doesn't matter if that person's with me for 10 minutes or 60 minutes. Those people, the outcome they are seeking is the MRI for the surgery. Layer on top of that, if they have United Healthcare, which has a capitated day rate, they pay me the same for a single unit or 4 units. It doesn't make a difference. I'm probably going to spend 10 dedicated minutes with that individual. They might spend more time in the clinic, but the idea is I understand why they're here. The outcome is the MRI and the surgery. It's not to try and get better utilizing physical therapy. I will give them the best 10 minutes I can give them, but 10 minutes satisfies the goal. And many times they are happy to leave at the end of 10 to 15 minutes. So in that case, I'm giving them what they want. Somebody else who has no socialization, we have another patient, the spouse passed away, the second pet passed away, they're left with themselves and one pet. They went and watched the Pittsburgh game at the 24-hour Anytime Fitness across the street because they don't get that cable channel at home. That person is coming for socialization. They're staying 40 minutes, an hour. They're paying the $100 a month. They're like, so I would say I'm giving the outcome. I'm selling the outcome just like you. It's just, I'm recognizing the way to deliver the outcome in different ways.
Yeah. Paul's saying sell the journey, not the destination. It works for Tony's practice and Dave's practice. I will say before I let Dave go, there is a caveat too, right? Which is neuro PT. Like I'm understanding there where repetition might be better. So that's different. Don't come at me, neuro PTs. I love you.
I'm pretty sure that I disagree with what Paul just said.
Okay.
I don't want to sell the journey. I just said I am selling the destination. I am selling the thing that they said. The client said, this is really important for me to get back to, which is getting back to museums, theater, traveling, golf, whatever the thing is. The journey, it needs to be pleasant and fun and all that. But the journey in what we do, the journey is work. It's effort. It's showing up for visits. It's doing some of your home exercise program. That's effort. And if I sell the effort, it's like, oh, that's like a lot of work. And I'm not sure if that's going to be worth $350 out of pocket per visit, or maybe even going through insurance or whatever. So maybe Paul I'm not understanding what he means by that, but like, we are selling the destination. We're going to get someone back to whatever they want to do. And and Alex Hormozy talks about this. He says, sell Maui. You don't sell the plane flight. You don't sell that you got to pack a big suitcase and you got to drive to the airport in traffic, and then you're sitting next to someone who's coughing or they have COVID or whatever. That's the journey. Like that's the trip. You want to sell the destination, which is like the end result, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. My point was value. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and so I think, and on some level, Dave, though, your people have to be buying and wanting both. Like Paul and I kind of are saying the same thing in the idea that, yeah, I could tell somebody you're going to be able to hike and climb mountains. Awesome. But it's going to take a decade of hard work in the gym, right? Like if they don't embrace and love and appreciate the hard work in the gym, they're not going to want the destination with the vehicle to get them there. So with Hormozy's example, going through TSA and booking the flight and dealing with the lines and all that stuff, there's still some enjoyment in that process, because they could have driven, they could have taken a boat, they could have taken a train, they could have ridden a bike, they could have found other modes of transport, but that is either the less offensive way to get there, or they embrace the journey. And so what I would say, if somebody wants to get in shape, get fit, lose weight, they have to enjoy the journey. And I have to realistically tell them, hey, this is not going to be easy,
But when I agree with all of you guys, but when you're in your pitch, you're not talking about, you're low lighting the effort and the journey, in my opinion, and you're highlighting the North Star of where you want to get back to. Now, along the way, and then we have to do the accountability, which is all the visits, like Paul's talking about, which is the journey, which, yes, is still valuable. And yes, they have to be bought into it. So I agree with you guys on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Party shots.
Dave, go ahead, because I'm blank.
Well, we talked about a bunch of things. I think the Con Ed thing for Jimmy, I think that's still maybe a work in progress. I do think that could be something that we would do here. And I think that I'm not sure what type of sizing of Con Ed we could do potentially for that, to have some type of almost like a pseudo advertiser, get some income in to pay for all of the ChatGPT advertisements or whatever else that we're using.
My hair product is not $0. I mean, this does not, I don't just roll out of bed and get this. I have to splash water on this.
Absolutely. Right. So, but other than that, just riffing on the difference between like out of pocket and insurance, and different type of customers and different type of therapists, and buying into different cultures and environments of your clinic. We just covered a bunch of different topics, but that's it for me.
Good.
Yeah, I just think that when we look at the hidden value, obviously, like if you have a physical space, you have a location, those minutes in the clinic are valuable to you, the clinic owner, but just as valuable to the client. and to drop a couple tens of thousands of dollars a year just by letting a couple people come in, I think that's an untapped market.
Yep, agreed. I would say you don't get paid for the time you put in. You get paid for the value you bring. If you can bring value in 7-minute abs, it's 1/8 better than 8-minute abs.
What is the movie? Real quick, what is the movie Half-Baked?
Jim Brewer, Dave Chappelle, Jon Stewart is in it. Like, it is a comedian hit list. And it came out when I was in college. I wasn't a weed guy, but it was just a lampooning of like weed culture back then, which was awesome. So it was Chappelle, Jim Brewer, Harlan Williams, like a hit, Jon Stewart, a hit list of comedians. Like Dave Chappelle has one of the greatest lines that I probably shouldn't. No, it wasn't Dave Chappelle. It was a different comedian. I can't remember his name. Had some of the greatest lines on the planet. Great movie. Great movie.
All right.
So you don't get paid for the time you put in. You get paid for the value. Stop marketing the hour and start selling.
That's it. We're out.
Boys, what the hell are you doing?
Follow Tony Maritato on YouTube at Total Therapy Solution. Find Dave Kittle at ConciergePainRelief.com and on YouTube at The Dave Kittle Show. And follow Jimmy McKay at PT Pinecast on YouTube, the socials, and wherever you binge podcasts you pretend are for CEUs. And hey, just a reminder, none of this was for advice. This was for entertainment only. Our lawyers say that counts. Thanks, Keith.